There's a kind of freedom that comes with age. You've earned the right to slow down, to say no without guilt, to spend time in ways that feel honest and restful. You've survived the noise, the pressure, the proving. Now is supposed to be a season of peace. And yet, many people find that this chapter, these years that were meant to be golden, quietly slip into something else. Restlessness, disconnection, a sense of fading instead of flowering. Why does that happen? The truth is, it's rarely because of outside forces. More often than not, it's the quiet decisions we make, or fail to make, each day that slowly erode our happiness and health. Small choices, unnoticed patterns, mindsets we never thought to question, and over time, those things become walls. But here's the good news. Once you can see them, you can change them. So in this video, I want to gently walk with you through 5 of the biggest mistakes people make in their later years. Mistakes that don't just affect the body, but weigh down the spirit. The kind of habits and beliefs that sneak in, whispering that you should settle, that your best days are over, that slowing down must also mean shrinking. But that doesn't have to be your story. Before we go on, let me pause here and say, if this message already resonates with something inside you, if you feel the nudge that maybe there's more to reclaim, please take a moment to subscribe. Or send this to someone you care about who may be quietly struggling in this season of life. Sometimes, all we need is a new lens and a kind voice. Let me ask you gently, when you think about your life right now, do you feel like you're living, or are you mostly managing? Are your days full of connection and choice, or just filled with routines, appointments, and empty space? You see, happiness and health in our later years don't come from avoiding problems. They come from facing them, with clarity, with grace, and with a willingness to change what no longer serves. And the people who thrive in old age, they aren't the ones who have no pain. They're the ones who choose not to let pain become the author of their days. So let's begin this conversation, not with judgment, but with honesty. Let's name the habits that can quietly diminish your light. And more importantly, let's begin the process of returning to the self you still are, still becoming. Because you are not done. You are not behind. You are not beyond joy. You are simply ready for a deeper kind of living. Let's begin. It often begins so quietly that we don't even notice it. A missed call we don't return. An invitation we politely decline. A birthday we remember but don't mention. A neighbor we used to chat with but now only wave to through the window. Before long, a week passes, then a month, then a year. And suddenly, what we once called quiet becomes isolation. What we told ourselves was privacy becomes loneliness. And perhaps the most dangerous thought of all starts to whisper inside us. I don't want to bother anyone. Let me tell you gently and clearly, this is one of the biggest mistakes we can make in old age. Believing we are a burden. Believing our voice, our presence, our needs are somehow less important now than they once were. That we must shrink our lives to keep others comfortable or busy. But connection is not a favor. It is a need. And your need for companionship, conversation, and belonging does not disappear with age. It deepens. You don't have to be surrounded by crowds, but you do need people who see you, hear you, touch your hand, laugh at your stories, ask how you are, and wait for the real answer. And here's the truth. The longer we go without that, the harder it becomes to ask for it again. But it is never too late to pick up the phone, to write the letter, to say, would you like to come over for tea? Seniors who live well into their later years with happiness and health are rarely the ones who stay the most physically fit. They are the ones who stay emotionally connected. Because the heart needs companionship just as much as the body needs rest. Without it, we begin to wither, not in body first, but in spirit. Let me ask you something gently. When was the last time you made a call just to say, I miss you? Or invited someone to sit beside you without worrying if your house was clean or your clothes were perfect? You are not a bother. You are a blessing. And often, the people you think are too busy are waiting for the same thing, someone to reach out, someone to remember, someone to say, I could use a little company. If you've experienced this, Either the loneliness or the courage to reconnect. Share your story in the comments. You never know who you'll comfort just by saying, "I've felt that too." And if this speaks to something inside you that's been quiet for too long, please subscribe. Or send this to someone who might be sitting in silence today, unsure if they still matter. Because connection isn't a chapter of youth. It's the heartbeat of being alive. And the moment we begin to believe we're too old to be needed, we begin to drift from the very thing that makes life worth living. Stay with me. In the next part, we'll talk about a mistake that often hides behind being practical, but over time, it can rob us of vitality more than we know. Let's continue. There's a saying we used to hear, "Take it easy in your old age." And while there's truth in gentleness, there's also danger in misunderstanding what rest really means. Because one of the most quietly harmful mistakes people make as they grow older is this: they stop moving. Not because they must, but because they believe they're supposed to. They say, "I'm too old for that," or "I need to be careful now," and then they sit. They sit to eat, they sit to read, they sit to rest, they sit because it's safe. But day by day, that stillness begins to settle into the bones. And what was once a choice becomes a limitation. The legs grow stiff. The back grows weak. The lungs don't open as fully. The steps become smaller. And fear begins to replace freedom. Let me tell you something clearly and lovingly. Growing older does not mean you must stop moving. It means you must move with care. You don't need to run. You don't need to lift weights. But you do need to walk, to stretch, to reach for something, to rise without strain, to keep reminding your body that it still belongs to you. Seniors who maintain their health and happiness almost always have one thing in common. They move, even just a little, every single day. They sweep the porch. They tend the garden. They go to the mailbox, even if there's no mail. They stretch their arms before their morning tea. They dance slowly in the kitchen while no one's looking. They keep their bodies in motion so that life stays in motion. Let me ask you gently, how often are you sitting? How many hours pass each day without a stretch, a walk, a reach? Not because you can't, but because you've simply gotten used to stillness? You are not made to be still. You are made to breathe, to stretch, to walk toward the window, to greet the light with your body, not just your mind. And no, it's not too late. If you can stand, you can sway. If you can sway, you can walk. If you can walk, you can move your way into vitality again. Start with 5 minutes. Stretch your arms. Roll your shoulders. Take a few steps down the hall. The goal is not speed, it's life. It's presence. It's reminding your muscles that you still live inside this body, and that body deserves care. If you've made movement a part of your daily life, share what works for you in the comments. Is it gentle walks? Is it stretching to music? Let others know. And if you're just realizing how long it's been since you truly moved, tell us how you'll begin. We're here with you. And if this message speaks to something deep in your chest, something that longs to breathe deeper and stand taller, please subscribe. Or send this video to someone you care about who may have mistaken slowing down for giving up. Because there is still time. There is still strength. There is still space in your day to move toward joy. In the next section, we'll look at a mistake that wears a quiet disguise. It often looks like being realistic, but it can quietly strip your life of hope, meaning, and even health. Stay close. Let's keep walking forward together. This one may be the most silent mistake of all, because it doesn't show up in how you walk or how you speak. It shows up in how you see, or rather, how you stop seeing. There's a dangerous lie that slips into the minds of too many people as they grow older. A thought that whispers, the best is behind you. There's nothing left to do. There's no more purpose, no more surprise, no more new. And so, without meaning to, they begin to live in reverse. They replay the past. They tell the same stories. They wait for days to pass rather than enter them. But here's the truth that seniors with the deepest joy understand. You are not here just to remember life. You are still here to live it. No matter your age, your health, your income, or your routines, there is still room for something new to grow. You can still try a new recipe. You can still read a book you've never touched. You can still plant something, write something, learn something. You can still meet someone new. You can still surprise yourself. And most of all, you can still look forward. You can look forward to a visit, to a phone call, to your morning cup of tea, to hearing a child's laughter, even if it's not your own, to watching the seasons change from your favorite window, to creating one more memory. Let me ask you gently, what are you looking forward to right now? If that question is hard to answer, don't feel ashamed. But also, don't ignore the invitation hidden inside it. Because hope is not a gift that belongs only to the young. It's a discipline of the living. And yes, life shifts. We lose people. We let go of roles. The road behind us grows long, and the road ahead shorter. But that doesn't mean there is no road. It means the path becomes more precious. Seniors who hold on to vitality are not the ones who pretend they are young. They are the ones who remain open. Open to beauty, to silliness, to wonder, to kindness, to possibility. If you've rediscovered joy in later years, if you found something that surprised you, delighted you, made you feel alive again, please share it in the comments. And if you felt lately like your life is just marking time, like your spark has gone quiet, then let this be the moment you remember. It only takes one new hope to begin again. And if this message touched that quiet part of your soul that still longs for more, even in the simplest ways, please subscribe. Or send this video to someone whose days feel empty and who might need a reminder that there is still something beautiful ahead. Because looking forward is not a habit of the young. It is the heartbeat of the wise. In the next part, we'll gently explore a mistake that many carry for years without knowing it, a weight they think protects them, but in truth, it only keeps the heart closed. Let's keep going. Time does many things. It softens our bodies, deepens our memories, reveals what truly matters. But time alone doesn't heal. Not always. Especially not when it comes to the hurt we carry in our hearts. One of the most common and quiet mistakes people make in their later years is this. They hold on to old anger, to past betrayals, to words that wounded, to people who disappointed them. They say, "I've moved on," but inside, the wound is still tender. They say, "It doesn't matter anymore," but they flinch when the name comes up. They say, "I don't need to talk about it," but their spirit grows tight whenever the memory returns. And slowly, over time, that bitterness, small at first, settles in. It shows up in impatience, in coldness, in distance from family members, in conversations cut short, in holidays that don't feel whole, in love that's withheld, not because the heart has no more to give, but because it's still trying to protect itself. Let me tell you something gently, something I've learned the long way. Bitterness is a wall that doesn't keep others out. It keeps joy from coming in. Seniors who live their final decades with lightness are not the ones who have never been hurt. They are the ones who made the quiet, courageous decision to let go. Not because the pain didn't happen, but because they were ready to stop reliving it. They chose forgiveness, not as a favor to the other person, but as a gift to themselves. Let me ask you softly, who or what are you still holding in your heart with tight fists? Is there a conversation that was never finished? A silence that has lasted too long? A family member you haven't called in years, not because of distance, but because of pride? Forgiveness doesn't mean everything becomes perfect again. It doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean the other person was right. It simply means you're tired of carrying the weight, and you're ready to be free. You are not too old to begin again with someone. You are not too old to say, "I forgive you." You are not too old to say, "I was wrong." You are not too old to say, "Can we talk?" And even if the other person isn't ready, even if they're gone, even if the chance never comes again, you can still choose to release the pain, to soften, to make peace, quietly and inwardly, where it matters most. If you've ever chosen forgiveness in later life, I'd be honored to hear how it changed you. And if you've been waiting, perhaps for an apology that never came, share that too. This space is for healing, not judgment. And if this message is loosening something in your chest, something that's been locked away for too long, I invite you to subscribe. Or share this with someone who's still carrying too much and may need a gentle permission to put it down. Because peace isn't found in forgetting, it's found in forgiving. Stay with me. In our final mistake, we'll look at something that seems small, even harmless, but left unchecked, it can quietly unravel everything we've built for our happiness and health. Let's finish this together. There's a quiet kind of disappointment that sneaks into old age, not through tragedy, not through illness, but through expectation. Many people, after 60 or 70, start waiting for happiness to show up in grand moments. They look for it in holidays, in family reunions, in special visits. They wait for someone to call, for a gift to arrive, for an event worth dressing up for. They wait for something big to make life feel full again. But days go by, and those big moments come less often. And in the spaces between, many seniors begin to feel something hollow. Not because they are unloved, but because they've forgotten how to be delighted by the small. And that, my friend, is a mistake far too many people make. They forget to honor the ordinary. They stop noticing the way the light moves across the floor in the late afternoon. They stop savoring the warmth of the coffee cup between their palms. They stop listening to the birds outside their window. They eat meals without blessing. They finish books without pausing to reflect. They walk by flowers without bending down to smell them. It's not that they're unhappy. It's that they've stopped participating in happiness. But the ones who age beautifully, peacefully, gratefully, they don't wait for joy to knock. They look for it. They make it. They find it in their morning routines, in watering their plants, in folding clean laundry slowly, in humming a hymn while they tidy the kitchen, in writing a note to someone who isn't expecting it. And every small joy they choose becomes a thread that holds the whole tapestry of their life together. Let me ask you, gently, what tiny joys have you walked past this week? Have you eaten a favorite snack without truly tasting it? Did the morning light come and go without you noticing? When was the last time you paused, not to think, but just to feel thankful? You don't need something big to be happy. You need something real. And real is found in the present moment, not in the perfect one. Try this today. Light a candle while you eat. Put on music just for you. Sit outside and close your eyes for 5 minutes. Let your senses come alive again. These aren't luxuries, they're life. And if you've rediscovered small joy in your later years, please share it in the comments. What moment made you smile yesterday? What habit brings you peace? And if this idea feels like a key you've been searching for, a return to presence, to attention, to beauty, please subscribe. Or send this video to someone who's been waiting too long for something special and needs to remember that this day is already sacred. Because happiness doesn't arrive all at once. It grows slowly, through details, through delight, through noticing. Now stay close. We'll bring this journey home with a closing reflection, one that ties together each of these mistakes, not to dwell on them, but to remind you how much power you still hold to live wisely, fully, and freely in the season you're in. Let's finish together. We've walked a quiet road together, one line not with regrets, but with recognition. 5 places where we can stumble. 5 quiet choices that, over time, pull us away from the peace, the purpose, and the presence we deserve in these later years. Withdrawing from connection, stopping our movement, believing there's nothing left to look forward to, holding on to resentment, and forgetting to notice the small joys that are already here. These are not failures. They're simply moments where we forget who we still are. And that's what I want to leave with you, dear one. You are still the author of this chapter. No matter your age, no matter your aches, no matter how many people have come or gone, no matter how quiet the house or how slow the mornings, you are still choosing. And what you choose today shapes how your life will feel tomorrow. You can choose to reach out, to stretch your legs, to forgive, to laugh, to begin again, to take joy in a bowl of soup, to whisper thank you when the sun rises, to pick up the phone, to let go of what's heavy, to look forward to something, even something small. And you can choose to remind yourself that getting older is not a curtain falling. It is a door opening, one slow step at a time, into a room filled with peace, perspective, and presence, if you will let it in. Let me ask you one final time, which part of today's message spoke to you the most? Which small shift can you begin this week? Not because you must, but because you want to feel alive again. Leave a comment. Share your voice. You are not alone in this. Your wisdom may be exactly what someone else needed to hear. And if this video has helped you see yourself with more compassion, more clarity, more hope, please subscribe. Or send it to someone who might be quietly carrying too much and needs a hand reaching into the light. Because the greatest mistake of old age isn't the aches or the losses. It's believing that this part of your life doesn't matter. But it does. You do. So keep choosing. Keep softening. Keep noticing. Keep loving. Keep moving. Keep becoming. Until next time, take a breath. Take a walk. And take one small step toward joy. You are still here, and that is more than enough.